This is Locked On NFL Players Squad Show, where real players talk real football. No filters, no fluff. Just raw insight straight from the guys who've been in the trenches, in the locker room, and under the lights. You want the truth about a game? You're in the right place. It's the NFL Players Squad on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Week 13 NFL action. It's the third week of the Player Squad Show. Anthony Armstrong here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one podcast network out there. You see all the faces around me, all of the experience in the league, coaching, on the field, you name it, they've done it. They're here. I'm joined. I got Jeff Scanina. I've got Brad Banta. I've got Jamil Douglas joining us. He got a fresh haircut over there. The top three guys, they all got haircuts. Everybody's looking good for Thanksgiving. We got Mark Collins over there, the great Mark Collins. I just learned Mark Collins, if you didn't know, one of the top 100 New York Giants. He does not get turned down for anything up there in the Big Apple. We got Big Jerry, Jerry Ostrowski in the building. He's joining us this week. He took a week off after the Bills took a tough L. And then we got Professor Kennedy, Lincoln Kennedy joining us as well. And then we got Kadri Ismail coming in like a missile. How you doing, my man?
Bruh, I don't know how I'm doing after watching some football here in Baltimore, and looks like the Ravens got some bad tryptophan that they had and stunk up the joint. The worst defense ever in the Cincinnati Bengals, but yet they took it to them, made them look like world beaters.
Hey, man, you know what? That's how the league goes right now. You get hot at the right time, and then you can find yourself on a run into the playoffs and beyond. But before we get started, Mark brought it up, and it's the hottest news in coaching, period. And you know what's going on in locker rooms. Probably folks in the Bengals locker room. Jamar Chase is talking about it. I'm sure Justin Jefferson is talking about it. Lane Kiffin, he left Ole Miss. Now he's at LSU. He's taking all that money. Mark, you started off. You brought it up.
Well,
what's your question with it?
Well, my question is, and I know the answer, but I'd like to hear you guys' feedback as well. A lot of these big-time college coaches are spurning the chance to go to the NFL because I think the money is better in college and there's really no accountability as to what you got to do. And your buyout clause is ridiculous. So if you get fired, and let's say you got a 10-year contract, right? And you get fired, that buyout can still be $54 million guaranteed by the school. But I digress. I think a lot of coaches are staying because the money's bigger and there's really not a lot of accountability to an organization or institution. So they're staying there. Now, I think they don't care about the kids as much, which they really don't. But, that's my take. But it was amazing to see that contract that Lane got to go to LSU. That's big time money.
I don't know. I think everybody on this screen would probably be on that plane if they came a calling.
Same day.
Go Tigers. You know what I mean? I wish he would have been able to stay, but obviously y'all were mentioning the calendar and signing day and all that stuff. So I mean, how do you fix it, Jerry? What do you do?
How do you fix college football?
Yeah, man.
Well, they're going to have to do the same thing they do in the NFL, which is eventually come up with a CBA and a collective, and everybody's going to have to sign contracts. And these leagues are going to have to come together and put their pride aside and quit worrying about who's the best league in America, whether it's the Big Ten or the SEC. And they're going to have to come together, share money, share resources, and put contracts together that prohibit all this. Because until they do, you're going to get this all the time. I mean, it's crazy to me that I watch an Ohio State game, and I'm all about, here's the thing. I'm all about revenue share. That should have been happened a long time ago. But some of this stuff, some of the stuff that's going on, it's like you watch Michigan, Ohio State. Ohio State had a $25 million roster, and Michigan had a quarterback making, I think, over $4 million a year or something.
Yeah,
so
it's
just I guess it's a world that us guys here can't even comprehend. Like, we were happy to get a tracksuit and maybe an extra swipe on the card. Now, if you need a tracksuit, you can call Mark Collins up and he'll get you one. Just remember that.
That is true.
But yeah, man, you got a couple extra swipes on the card at the cafeteria. You were happier than could be. But it's cool. I mean, I get it, and I think it's fine as far as that stuff goes. But they got to have a CBA and regulate this thing. And until they do, you're going to have situations like this.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for the players personally. I mean, you think about the fact that you sign there to be with that coach, he's gone, or just all the off-season stuff. But I went West Texas A&M. I went Division II. But I will say they're going to the Heritage Bowl in Corsicana, Texas, against Arkansas Tech. So shout out to West Texas A&M. Roll damn Buffs. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Look it up.
You're right.
I'm in the Hall of Champions.
Exactly.
Over
I didn't know
there.
there was a school there.
Yeah, you did. Murphy Morris and them went over there, man. Dwayne Thomas. I better put some respect on the Buffalo. Let's talk about NFL football.
But wait, first, one thing about this college thing, though. Like, we talk about the coach leaving. These players are leaving every year now.
Yeah.
That's true.
That shouldn't be allowed. You should be able to maybe get one transfer and that's it. You can't go year to year if you're chasing money. That's ridiculous. You can't get mad at the coach for leaving because he's chasing money. Because these players are doing the same thing, just chasing that money.
Let me throw my 2 cents in if I can, guys. Here's the thing. I've been covering a lot of college football, and as you guys know, and of course, well, you don't know this, but my youngest son is about to embark. He wants to go next level. He's a junior in high school. Okay, so here's the thing I found out about NIL. First of all, with the Lane Kiffin decision, I don't mind a coach jumping ship. Matter of fact, the way it is, I found that there are coaches who are better suited for college ball than pro ball because they need to have that damn control. So if you want to be a control freak like Lane is, stay in college. I don't have a problem with that. Do your thing. Besides jumping around, they've already tried to unionize, and they're going to work to unionize the college football players. That's what's coming up next. They're going to try to create a union. Then the government has already stepped in, which is a no-no, and put in salary caps on certain big divisions. For example, they put a cap on the Big Ten, where Washington has $22 million. I'm speaking of my alma mater. I know they have $22 million, and they're going to spend it on 4 sports. So the beginning of the end is already cut out for a number of sports at a number of universities. It's going to play to the big man, the golden rule. He who has all the gold makes all the rules. Last year, Ohio State won the national championship off of $20 million salary for their players, $28 million. And then you talked about how you released them down to $22 million or whatever they are right now, and they're still competing. This is what big schools can do now. Texas committed $75 million to NIL. You know, Texas Tech played their pitcher who came from Stanford last year in the championship, $1 million. So, I mean, this is what big money is in. Exactly. A softball pitcher, the girls pitcher. So, here's what it's evolved to. There are many more kids who are taking advantage of what I consider amateur free agency by jumping around to school. I feel bad for programs because it's hard as hell to build a stable program when you don't know if the guy that you have one year is going to be with you next year. So how do you go forward? I'm seeing more and more rosters being built by the transfer portal, and that's just the way it's going to be. I didn't want to see the government get involved, but they've got to do something to slow this down, because how do you put a cap on the post-COVID years and the amount of money that's being spent? You've got programs that are recruiting their big ballers to come in, just like casinos in Vegas do. Recruit your big ballers to come in and, hey, we'll put you up in a nice suite, donate this money because we need this player, and that's what it's going down to. So college football is a mess. It's a money-making free agency ride, if you will. But I know for a fact, for what I told my son, I want you to decide on a program that's going to give you the best education. The money will come later. But you take care of what you do. That's just me. And I'm not saying that everyone else is out there, but I've heard horror stories where I've heard, families going up to, well, hey, and I'm going to use these schools as an example. You go up to Oregon. Oregon's going to offer us $75,000. What can you do for us? They're going to have bidding wars. They're going out bidding war. And I'm not telling anybody how to, take care of their money or what they should do about their money. We've seen it done in baseball and other sports, basketball. Families try to groom their kids to be pros because they think they can get that payday. That's just what college football has become. And the way it's affected the pro game is that, well, first of all, I mean, we can go in ad nauseum. They're not training guys how to block in college. O-line stand in the way. O-line really developing guys, because if you go from school to school, you can't develop. And that's why you got rookies that are coming in the league at 28, 29 years old, because they're playing 7-8 years of college.
What is that? Still bad technique-wise.
Absolutely. I mean, I did a game a couple years ago, and there was a fourth-year sophomore.
What?
At the University of Arizona. Fourth-year sophomore. I said to myself, oh, my God, I wish I could have stayed in school this long.
Yeah, right. I like learning, you know what I mean? Come on.
Did you meet his grandkids? I know, that's exactly right. I mean, that's exactly what's coming up. But
sounds like a movie.
Van Wilder.
It is what it is. It's a modern day free agency, and until they put a cap on it, I don't know how you slow it down.
No, man. You better come out of that thing with all type of paperwork, 2 or 3 degrees, and passport full of locations that you've been at. Because I tell you, don't don't leave nothing wherever you go to all these different schools, young man. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm putting down. Be safe out there. Don't make no bad decisions. Because hell, if you try to go to the league, you don't want to have no baggage hanging with you. So let's talk about the NFL action, all right? Because we're getting close to the playoffs. You're starting to see the stories of teams come to fruition. Some teams that we thought were hot, they kind of having some bumps on the road. So we got to see, are they going to be real or not? But just let's start on that. Let's go AFC side since Kadri came in with it. AFC North. Y'all stink, man. 6 wins the most. You got the 4-win Bengals that have a chance to actually make it to the playoffs. Well, I mean, like, what do you think going on? I mean, well, I'll let you start just because you're hosting from Baltimore, but we got to hear about this AFC North. How they gonna make? Who's coming out of there?
You know what? It's just this weird territory for, I think, the AFC North. The last few years, you've seen it where at least 2 teams are coming out of the North. And whether it be Pittsburgh, whether it be Cincinnati, obviously the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. This year, I can say from all 3 teams, and I got to give love to offensive line play. I think I have been in la-la land all these years as a receiver, just thinking that all you got to do is just show up and, you know what, the game will take care of itself. But I'm realizing more and more, if you have an offensive line, you will win. If you do not have an offensive line, I don't care how great your skill players are, it don't matter. And I think for the AFC North, like literally from a Steelers perspective, like just sorry offensive line play. Aaron Rodgers is running for his life, bloody nose and all. Then you look at what, like, we ain't even talking about the Cleveland Browns and what a fiasco that is. But Cincinnati, as bad as their offensive line was, I will say the flip side of it, when they came to Baltimore, it seems like every team that plays Baltimore outside of Chicago Bears, who got whooped 30-16, but it seems like you need a revival game, go to Baltimore and play the Ravens. And so Joe Burrow hadn't played in weeks, and all of a sudden he looks like a world beater. But on the flip side of it, you're talking about a Ravens ball club that hasn't played well for about 5 straight weeks, and yet they've been winning games, and it's fool's gold. And so the North, the Ravens and the Steelers, they're going to play this Sunday. Yeah, they're going to be honoring our Super Bowl 35 team at halftime and all that. And it's going to be, ooh, yeah, all right. Great rivalry. No, it's not. It's going to be bad. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the poor offensive line play. I can speak for both the Ravens and Steelers. It's just not good. Not good football.
Can we get you up there? Maybe you do a little motivational speech, or maybe you get Jamil. Jamil, what do you think, man? O-line play, having to run the ball late. Who's coming out of the North?
Oh man, I don't know who's coming out of the North. I will say that when Joe Burrow was able to obviously get back on the field, I think that you got to give the Bengals a shot. Just what he brings to that team offensively, and it's the same story every year. They can put up a bunch of points, and they don't typically stop anybody. What worries me about the Ravens is like this Bengals team that they played against. I think everyone thought that this was going to be the Ravens' offensive coming out party. You were going to get the Derrick Henry 150 yards, 2 touchdown type of game. We were going to see Lamar kind of bring that magic back. And like, Kadri said, it hasn't been that. And it's been a bunch of fool's gold. The win versus the Jets was a win, but it wasn't as dominating as you would think from a Ravens team that we are expecting to, just on paper be in the playoffs. And so I don't know who comes out the North, but I think that you can't count out Baltimore or the Bengals just based on the amount of points they can score.
That's one of them ones where it's unfortunate. Somebody got to make it, Brad. You know what I mean? Like, they got to let somebody in. The holidays are officially here, and gift hunting season is officially underway. And if you want to get something that is meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a smile and a great reaction, check out Aura Frames. It's the gift that delivers every time. And it's not just something you wrap, it's a way to share memories, because Aura is not your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it. So when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. So for your grandparents, parents, newlyweds, basically anybody who loves photos, you can give them an Aura frame. You can have endless uploads of pictures and 30-second videos through the Aura app. You can add a personalized message right inside of the frame so the gift feels more thoughtful and is already ready whenever they open it. So listen, for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter, by using the promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code LOCKEDON. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames will sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Staying in the AFC, you go out to the West, though. The Broncos, man, them suckers are actually pretty good, man. They kind of got it going. They beat up on the Commanders late. Are they the cream of the crop of the West? Jeff, what do you think?
I think they are. I mean, their offense is playing well. The young quarterback's doing some good things, and they're playing good defense. You know, Vance Joseph's got those guys playing really good football out there. You know, so they're playing, 3 phases of good football. So they have a chance out West. But those Chargers are coming now. They're starting to play a little bit better. They went through a little lull, but now they're starting to play some good football too. But I still think, come out of the West, it's the Broncos. They're the team to beat out there.
Brad, what you thinking?
No, hey, I honestly think the Broncos are the team to beat. And, is Denver – the question you got to ask yourself is Denver this year's version of the cardiac 11-5 teams, playing all these close games. And believe it or not, these teams, and y'all can speak for this as well, you learn from every game that you play in, win or lose. It helps to win the games, obviously, but you learn how to win in close situations. And we covered this in the first episode. I mean, these guys are winning because they're winning in the situational football part of the game. And they're steady Eddie. And Jeff, you touched on it with Vance's defense playing really well. And then Sean has Bo Nix dialed up. He understands, I believe, the relationship between those two is, obviously it's not to the point of what it was in New Orleans with Drew and Sean, but it's evolving into that situation. And you're going to see a longevity of really being a good team in the division for a while, as long as they keep Bo Nix healthy.
Yeah. Living in Kansas City and following the AFC West, the Broncos are the team to beat. The biggest thing with the Broncos, what I see is, can you trust Bo Nix in the playoffs? We saw what he did last year. They went to Buffalo, and I think they just choked out. They didn't look that great, but the defense has been lights out. There's no doubt about it. They are good. They got speed. They got energy. They got some damn corners that could cover the planet. They're good. But you know what? It'll come down to, can you trust Bo Nix in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Can you trust him? That's it. The Chargers look good, but the Chargers always look good, and then they get to the playoffs and they stumble.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, I don't know. They got to win out to have a chance. Last year, the cut line was 10. That's because Houston got 10 wins and won the division. They got in. I don't know what the cut line is going to be in the AFC this year for playoffs, but Chiefs got to win out. The Raiders are, they're on the clock.
Yeah.
So,
they are making a selection soon.
Let me put my 2 cents in about this division. Look, I'm going to tell you guys right now, what Sean Payton has been able to do with Bo Nix and hide his deficiencies in his sophomore slump year are remarkable. But it's mainly because of that defense. I'll say this. I think Denver wins the division with that defense. It's lights out. I think they win the division, but I also think they lose in the first round of the playoffs. because there are deficiencies that Bo Nix has that will be shown up in playoff style football. There was a piece of it in the Commanders game the other night. They shouldn't have won that game. There were times where Bo Nix missed wide open throws, and you can't do that as you get into the playoff crunch. But it to me, even though I represent the silver and black, to me it's about the fact that somebody finally dethrones Kansas City and takes some of the shine away from them. They've been on top. They've been a dynasty for the last decade. They've been running the show. There haven't been many rivalries, but now we kind of see that other teams have caught up. I don't give much emphasis into the Chargers because now that Herbert's got a broken hand, I think that changes their game. I know what they look like against the Raiders running the ball efficiently, but I don't think they can do that every time with that mixed match offensive line that they have as well. Much of what Q was talking about, Quadri was talking about when it comes to offensive line play. Offensive line play has been a deficiency for many teams in this division, and it's gone downhill significantly, and that's why you see these defenses sort of taking over. That's why Denver is so proficient with what they do with their 9-win record. 10-win record now. They've got a defense that'll play lights out, that'll keep you low and force your offense to work. Now they're not the Ravens defense, that Super Bowl 35 team you're talking about, Q, but they are pretty good right now. They've got enough speed to compete with anyone.
Now we talking the playoffs, and it's going to be big on quarterback play. Chargers losing a guy, Burrow coming back. Which quarterback do you trust the most, Jerry? And I asked Jerry on purpose. Which quarterback you trusting the most? Obviously, you got Josh.
Of anybody?
I mean, over there on the AFC side, because I mean, Josh has had a few shaky games right now. Like, who do you trust the most?
Probably the guy up in Foxborough after watching him for a while, Drake Maye. I mean, that dude is flat getting it. If I can't have Josh at full speed, I'll take the dude that looks just like him that does the same stuff. But no, they've done a great job in New England. Of course, they protect him well. They built they built that offense around him, allow him to get the ball out. They've done a great job in free agency of signing really good free agents, and then also in the draft. But unlike a lot of teams that when they're not very good, they stumble upon, they don't draft well, they don't do things. And, New England's done a great job. They've drafted well because they haven't been very good. So they got high draft picks. They've picked well. Vrabel, of course, bringing in that new energy. They're feasting upon a schedule for a team that hasn't been very good. So they got that also. But no, I mean, I think New England's going to be tough. But then again, I agree with Lincoln too. I mean, these young guys, it's one thing in the regular season. When you get into the playoffs, it's a whole different bear. And, they're going to see things that they haven't seen. It's one and done at that point. So if you ask me if I would trust any quarterback in the league in the playoffs, I hate to say this, but it's old Mr. Top 100's guy over here, freaking Patrick Mahomes, man. That dude's a dog until they get beat.
They may not even make it.
I'll be honest with you. Nobody wants them to get there. If they get in,
you're right.
They'll probably go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's how good that dude is, man.
Here's something, Jerry. Here's something, Jerry, too, because you talk about all these quarterbacks, but we're speed bumping, all of us. We're speed bumping over the AFC South in Daniel Jones, and Trevor Lawrence, and C.J. Stroud. All three teams have made that strong uptick. Because they've been such a weak division, we kind of just use them as like, we'll get to them at some point. But from a quarterback play aspect, I think I got to go through the fire in order to be refined and be mentally tough to be playoff ready. Is Daniel Jones that mindset of, okay, this is a team that I have a strong running game, Jonathan Taylor, I got a defense that can fly around well enough. At the same time, you look at CJ Stroud and the Texans, while they're on the bubble, holy mother of pearl. That D-line is vicious, vicious. I think Josh Allen, as much as he was sitting there talking about the Pittsburgh game and they ran the ball right down Pittsburgh's throat. Hallelujah. Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all. We needed y'all to get that victory. But I still think that they're seeing double when it looks like the way they were dismantled by the Texans defense. And then you talk about Trevor Lawrence. If not now, when? You got a strong-minded coach that gives you good, strong ideas as far as your offense is concerned. Trevor has been that guy that's been the franchise player that no one really talks about. Well, now you're what? You're the number one team in the AFC South. You have an 8-4 record. Okay, now is your chance. So I think playoff-wise, the AFC South is the most intriguing of all the divisions.
Yeah, I think the
Agreed.
AFC South is intriguing for sure, and we all know that a good team can get derailed by injuries, and that's kind of what we're seeing with the Colts. Sauce Gardner out with the calf injury. Daniel Jones is dealing with the fractured fibula, and I know he's still out there playing, but you definitely have to take that into account in terms of these colder games coming up and just the style of ball that they play. So I still give them a good shot because they do have good offensive line, good running game, and I think you can really lean on that as it gets later in the year. But this conference is, they're right in the middle of the pack. Everyone's either 8-4 or 7-5 besides the Titans. And so I think, the Texans have to be encouraged with where they are and their defensive line just carrying them throughout the year so far.
But it's not even just the defensive line. Those cornerbacks are nasty, man.
Oh, yeah.
And those guys.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
mean, that just the whole defense in general is
For
nasty.
sure.
And,
Yeah.
it's and until you play it, you don't know it. But man, they get after it. And of course, we're going to play them, and we won't chip anybody. We won't chip an end or anything. Our 5-man protection, and Josh figure out everybody else, buddy. We'll be all right. Yeah, whatever, man.
Oh my God! Yeah,
But no,
that's
as
starting
good as
to
that
run
D
out.
line is, as good as that D line is, those corners are phenomenal.
Yeah,
Jerry, what are you guys going to do? Your Bills going to do? They just lost their tackles, both their tackles.
We're gonna
Jerry about
line
to
up
play.
and run
Run the
Navy.
ball.
We're gonna run Navy and Army's offense. We're gonna run spread option.
We
That's
go
what we're
see
gonna do.
starting that guard.
Honest to goodness,
Jerry
honest to goodness.
Ostrowski Jr.
We ran the same play, I want to say, over 20 times. And
I saw that clip.
And you hear TJ Watt makes a clip. He goes, I've never had anybody run the same play against us that many times and have that much success
It was
at
like
the same
29
time.
plays for like 140
It
yards.
was, yeah. I mean, it was.
Hey, you can't stop it, run it. I'm
It's a
a
run.
offensive guy. You can't stop it, run it.
They changed up some fits and they changed up some angles and how it looked on the handoff. But basically, it was what we used to call the old 56-57, which was everybody blocked down inside.
Yep.
They manipulated the ends, and then the back fit accordingly. And then James Cook is so dang good.
Yeah.
He had 60 some yards of 60 some rushing yards before contact this game. Bills had 131 yards total of rushing yards before contact this game.
Hell of a,
Why y'all
hell of a
bulling?
performance.
I'm hoping that in the future we see because it's a revolving door. It's a revolution when it comes to the NFL. We get back to the power running game. All these defenses have been built so much with so much speed on the outside linebackers on the ends. Look, as a 330-pound offensive tackle, I would have feasted to see a 250-pound linebacker outside of me. We better be running right at his ass every single play. And you have all these defenses with all these smaller guys that aren't traditionally stand-up defensive ends, outside linebackers, a glorified hybrid 3-4 defense, in my estimation. You see that. You see guys be able to plug up the middle, but for the outside is built on speed. So when do you do like the 90s Cowboys and go back to a power running game with a fullback and tight end and take under the center rather than doing shotgun? Because that's what's killing these quarterbacks. You keeping a gun and keeping an exposed tackle with these defensive ends, they've got an automatic angle to the quarterback. There's nothing to do but step up, and sometimes that pocket becomes cluttered. And if you don't have a mobile quarterback like a Josh Allen or somebody that can get out of the harm's way, they're sitting. They're deer in the headlights. They're just sitting there. So I think we're going to see a revolution of a change of offensive philosophy. And I challenge these offensive coordinators out there to think about it. A power running game has feet. Look at what Philadelphia did in their own way last year. Power running game, running in November and December, wearing down those defenses. That's what playoff football is going to get to. The Chargers, I don't think, have enough in their offensive line to do that. I'm still scared of the Chiefs because until somebody takes them out, they've been running the show. So I don't know who's coming out of the West, but you got to have a power running game. And I tip my hat to those kids who can do it well.
But if you're doing it on the NFC side, we got to get to the NFC side a little bit. You're talking about power run game. Brad, they got Jahmyr Gibbs up there. You've got the Philly, obviously. If Saquon Barkley is, are they going to wake up? Is that running game going to get going? The Rams, Sean McVay likes to run the rock, so there's a lot of running that's going over there in the NFC. So which running attack, Brad?
The Bears are running the rock too. The Bears are running
the
rock.
Bears are starting to run that pill. Ben Johnson taking his shirt off and stuff.
Number one seed in the
NFC. Lincoln, you brought up a real good point. You talk about the offensive coordinators. So one thing that you have to think about is when are the owners going to step in and be like, hey, we got to protect our investment? And talking about the quarterback, and you know, you and Jerry and those guys and Jamil are talking about, 5-man protection. And I was on a call where there was an older coach, and he was talking about the lack of 6 and 7-man protection. It's almost like it's a lost art. And you have the young gun coordinators who know everything. Just ask them. But they haven't learned the old school style of football. And the ones that are having success are the ones that are running the ball, and then that's setting up the play action, and then it starts to free up your quarterback. Detroit has had a rough go of it over this past month, but they had to adjust that way just because of the lack of mobility from Jared Goff.
Yeah.
And they're chipping Gibbs, they're chipping with Montgomery, their protection, 6-7-man protection. Where they ran into trouble is then whenever Amon-Ra went down, and that left him with James Williams. And he's, God, you love the speed. And I had been harping for the past month. I just didn't like the way that he caught the ball. He was a body catcher. And this past game, he started catching the ball with his hands. But you get back to the offensive line, and that is where their bread was buttered, because they give it to Jahmyr Gibbs and they give it to David Montgomery. Primarily this past month, they've been giving it to Gibbs and just letting Sonic just go do his thing. And they were running behind Penei Sewell and Tate Ratledge, and Tate Ratledge right now is dinged a little bit, and then Glasgow's dinged a little bit. And then they're going, I believe Cologne started. Yeah, because Glasgow didn't play last game, and Cologne started at center, and then they lost Mahogany at guard, and then Taylor Decker is.
Are you suiting up this week too?
Well, I have a question on that. What prompted Ragnow to trying to come back? What was part of the Frank Ragnow out of retirement deal about?
So they were having trouble up the middle, and they lost Mahogany a couple games ago. And I'm sure these talks had been in place for, I would imagine, since probably training camp ended. And
Right,
just trying to convince him. And once Frank decided to come back, I honestly think he pulled his hamstring running from the couch down the terminal, on his way to Detroit.
Golly.
I mean, because he ended up getting a grade 3 hamstring pull.
That's serious. That's a serious.
Yeah, that's a serious one.
Ain't no whole lineman running that fast, man.
Typically,
That's it. You get in there, you get excited for that check, and no. I used to say fat guys didn't pull hamstrings. I see it more and more these days.
Yeah. For what it's worth, Detroit 3-point favorite. They playing Dallas on Prime. Dallas is probably the hottest team in the NFC East, in my opinion. How you see that matching up? Dallas's offense is obviously electric. Now you got the defense starting to show up a little bit. What do you think in that matchup?
Yeah, so it's we did a show yesterday, and we talked about it, and we gave our predictions. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I honestly do. You're looking at probably over 70 points scored in this game.
Over under is 54. So
Yeah.
No defense. Z, what do you think out of that matchup, man?
I can't wait to watch
Dallas
it.
can run the ball too. We were talking about running offenses.
Dallas offense is rolling. I mean, that's what they got. They got the 2 receivers. They got the running game going. Shotty's doing good, doing some good things down there. The O-line's playing well, and then the defense. Jerry went out and made 2 big trades for 2 big guys inside, which was been their problem for years down there. They can't stop the run, and when you got Quentin Rowland now, so he's going to, at least they're band-aiding the run game there, and their corners are playing better. And now they got a linebacker too. So he's patched it up from the beginning of the year where it was like ridiculous. It was bad, and slowly but surely they're playing better on defense. So I can't wait to see what happens Thursday night, in the run game against Dallas's defense, because they really haven't been tested in the last couple of weeks since they put all those pieces together. So I can't wait to watch that.
Yeah,
But I
that should
still
be a
think
good
that
matchup.
I don't think Dallas will be able to pull it out.
No.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I read a stat the other day. I mean, Dallas on the road is 1 something.
Yeah.
It's not good. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be an entertaining game more than anything.
It's well worth your Prime membership if you don't have it. So go ahead and snag that thing. Hell, Brandon Aubrey can kick it from the lake to make a field goal. So it's going to be.
So can Bates.
They should just
both of them.
have a field goal contest to figure out who's going to win this game. That should be the most exciting thing. Oh man, Chicago Bears.
Are we going to get Koo involved in that as well, or no?
Oh man, my
Did you see that?
gosh.
It's like sticking a 9-iron right in the dirt. Right?
Oh my
I was going, what the
god.
hell was that?
Hey.
Me and one of my teammates, Phil McConkey, with the Giants. So we watch the Giants and we text him back and forth. This play happens, and he sends me a text. He goes, "What was that?" I said, "I have never seen anything like that in my 13-year career. Never. A kicker sticks his toe directly into the ground.
Into the turf. It had to hurt. Yeah, I would imagine that has to hurt.
I think he break his toe, but the Giants
I
scored.
hope it did hurt.
Well, yeah, Giants scored, and he came back and kicked off. I was going, man, how embarrassing.
I don't know, man. That there's been some pretty embarrassing moments on the football. That's the one thing like you don't want to happen, right? You'll get hit hard, you know what I'm saying? That stuff will happen, but like butt fumbles and sticking your toe in the ground, you do not want any of that stuff to happen, right? Like I'll be real. You already know. Sometimes y'all DBs, y'all don't play as aggressive when all the lights are shining. All right, Mark, you know that.
I play aggressive all the time. So you tell your story, Anthony.
Yeah, the lights be on it. It's like, why you ain't pressing right now? The lights are on. You don't want your mama to see.
Lights. No, that play reminded me of Charlie Brown. Remember when Lucy's going to kick the ball?
But he didn't move the ball. He's supposed
I
to
know.
move it.
He's still there like, dude, where you at?
That's upsetting. That's upsetting. NFL Sundays move fast from one big play here, and everything feels different. It can turn the tide of a game, and that's what makes live betting on FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. And with FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. And live betting is when the game starts to shift, a player is getting hot, a receiver starts doing their thing, the defense starts to tighten up, and maybe even the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into on those exact moments. You have live spreads and money lines that are going to adjust immediately. Player props are going to update as those guys heat up, and you can bet the next touchdown scorers, drive results, totals, and more to keep it locked in every single snap, every drive, every possibility. And on this Thursday, you're going to have the Lions and the Cowboys squaring off on Thursday Night Football. You can jump in on CeeDee Lamb if the Cowboys need a quick strike, or Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions to get loose on one of those running plays. And these two high-powered offenses, they're going to provide the perfect opportunity to get in on the action. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Let's talk about this, though. One team that is pulling Charlie Brown on some NFL Super Bowl favorites is the Carolina Panthers. What's up with these folks? They go up there, they beat the Rams. Who else did they beat? The Seahawks, I think. No, the Eagles. Thankfully, thank you. So, what's up with the Panthers? You think they're going to make a push over here in the South with the Buccaneers kind of wavering? Who wants to jump on that one?
I'll start off. I mean,
Go ahead.
Their schedule is we're going to find out. So they got the Bucs twice in Seattle, all in 3 weeks in a row. So they got the Saints, the next game, and then they got the Bucs, Seahawks, Bucs. So that's what it's going to come down to between the Bucs and them, to take that division. So we're going to find out real soon how good those Panthers are.
They
I
got
haven't
running
watched enough
attack.
of Panthers football, but I know this. You know what? I'm tipping my hat to these guys because they're playing hard. So many times, many of the media pundits like ourselves will write these guys off starting off with a slow record, and it takes time for teams to gel. especially when you're talking about collecting all these young players and bringing them together. So tip my hat off to the Carolina Panthers. I don't think they'll go far in the playoffs because I think there are just other teams that are more defined in the NFC that can take over that. But you know what? They can disrupt it, cause some playoff headaches, or just cause some some sort of hysteria around the playoff picture. Good for them. I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, they're playing well. I mean, you got 6 losses, but there's nobody running away in the division in their division, so you got a shot. Why not them? But overall, I think the whole league in itself, there are really no great super teams that's blowing everybody out. So Carolina's there. They beat some great teams, some top teams in the National Football League on the NFC side. So yeah, they got a legitimate shot to make the playoffs and maybe win the division.
Hell, they're gonna get tested, just like you said, Z. You got your leader in front of you with the Bucks. I know the Commanders had that similar lineup with the Eagles twice. That doesn't make it very fun. But what's up with the Bears, though, man? Ben Johnson has worked his magic coming from Detroit. Now he pulled the shirt off post game. Like, I know that's gonna have the team extra hype. So I mean, I feel like they probably have just enough magic sauce. Whatever he just sprinkled on top of that team is working right now. So I mean, what do you got on them, Z?
They committed to their offensive line. They committed resources to their offensive line. If you want to talk about, everybody. Look, we talked about it, and I've been talking ad nauseum, excuse me, about these teams that don't pay attention to the offensive line. They think they can get these young guys from college and develop them. There's no development in the National Football League. You better be able to play right now in a system, or you're no good to us. Those teams out there that committed to their offensive line, Chicago Bears leading the division, one of the top records in the league. New England Patriots leading the division, one of the top records in the league. This runs hand in hand. It's not hard. I don't know why these coaches don't get it. It's not hard. You create a system that's conducive to the players that you're utilizing. And there are more times where an offensive lineman is going to tell you, I'd much rather go forward than back up and catch. Sure. I'd much rather be the aggressor than the receiver. So it's to me, it's a simple product. That's just my 2 cents, and I'll drop off.
Yeah, I agree with Lincoln with that, because they did go out this offseason and beef up that offensive line, which they've been hurting over the last 5-8 years. I mean, it's been ridiculous in Chicago with their O-line. And they went out and did that, And then they also, we talked about it earlier with the run gamer thing, they're going to a lot of 12 personnel, keeping both tight ends in. They went and drafted that kid out of Michigan, right? Loveland, and then pairs up with, Cole Kmet. Shout out to my nephew. Yeah. So, and they got that rolling, right? And they both stay in and block on pass downs and run downs. They're committed to the run game and to the blocking, and keep making that young cat, back there with the ball, give him some time. And they don't ask him to do a lot. They just get him to make good plays, solid plays that he's comfortable doing, and not have him press it all the time. And then their defense, lights out. Yeah. Top in turnovers, right?
Leading the league in turnovers.
They take the ball away.
And they don't give the ball away a lot. Like I was saying, they don't put that kid in bad situations, Caleb in bad situations to throw the ball in the other hands, So they're playing solid football.
Here's a question for y'all NFC North guys. This is giving, like when Stafford swapped out Goff, and Stafford swapped out Goff, and now you got Caleb Williams swapping out for Goff. Do you see Chicago going further in the playoffs than Detroit with Caleb Williams at quarterback and Ben Johnson calling those plays and Detroit making it?
Well, Detroit's got to make it.
Yeah.
So then I guess that's a yes.
Yeah.
Like, I figure, can Caleb's athleticism and the things that he brings to the position elevate a Ben Johnson offense more than what Jared Goff was? That's kind of what I'm getting at, Jamil.
I think so. I think Caleb, all he has to do is be a game manager. I think the pieces that are around him, the offensive weapons, the offensive line, their defense leading the league in turnovers, that right there is giving them more opportunities to be on the field and score points. They've been able to go on the road and win games. The game versus Philly, we haven't seen the team kind of handle Philly that way. They look like they've been playing together for years. And so I think you got to kind of, again, the Lions have to make it. The Bears have been more convincing to me thus far, just given what they've done the last few weeks on the road and at home.
It's interesting. I was at that Bears game and freezing my butt off. Like I sit there and I recognize how spoiled a former player you are. Number one, who pays for parking? Okay. So you're just so used to just driving right on up into the stadium and then you just get right on out and you're
Hey,
in.
Q,
You don't gotta
let
worry
me cut
about
you
that.
off, Q. I guarantee you Mark ain't paying for parking. We all heard how he's getting all the free.
Nah.
Mark ain't paying for
So
parking.
No,
Mark
Mark
call
ain't
somebody
paying.
for
He
you.
I
running
do
out
not
with the
know.
team. He running out with the team.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I'm telling you guys,
Hey,
listen. If
Bruh,
it ain't
I'm
free,
sit-
if it's free, it's for MC.
yeah.
hey,
And
I'm
I'm
sitting
sticking
there
with
thinking that, bruh, like you're looking at all these Eagle fans, you're looking at a spattering of Bear fans, and I'm like, bruh, first of all, they got us. $50 for parking is insane. But going into the
50,
stadium,
that's cheap.
like you're,
Shit, where are you at?
that was Philly across the street from the main parking of the parking.
Oh,
So I was getting
off-site
my steps
parking.
in today. I was getting my steps in that day. It was Black Friday. I was like, all right, bet. I'm just gonna keep walking. I feel good about it. As I'm sitting there though, you could see the swagger pregame of the Bears, whereas from an Eagles aspect, you just see that doubt. You just don't see that confidence. And when it came to Caleb Williams, compared to, say, a Jalen Hurts, who is a Super Bowl champion, who has gone through the gauntlet to get to the Super Bowl as far as playoff mindset and all the things, it's interesting because Caleb, what the only thing that concerns me is that if he needs to make that throw, there are about 3 or 4 throws he needed to make that he didn't make, but your defense bails you out and your running game bails you out. Whereas for Jalen Hurts, obviously Saquon Barkley and company, like the Bears were having none of it, just dominating them up front. At the same time, though, the bigger picture was Jalen, he had some stud receivers and he wasn't making the throws, but when the receivers needed to come up with some clutch catches, at least to keep them in the game, they were coming up with the clutch catches. I am concerned from when it gets a little thicker and the pressure gets a little bit more, is Caleb Williams going to have the right mental mindset to be able to make that playoff type throw to help his team?
It's a good point.
Yeah,
That is a good point.
Good point. We've often seen young quarterbacks who come out of college with, and especially drafted in the first round, even first picks, sometimes try too hard to make those plays, try to do too much instead of what they were doing and just helping, knowing that they have a team around them. So it'll be interesting to say. I don't know what the Bears' staying power is right now, but they're very disruptive for what they're doing, especially in that division. And don't sleep on Green Bay. They're still in wings. Green Bay might find a way to put it together too if they can get healthy.
That is true.
Chicago have to travel up there to Green Bay this coming Sunday. So I think from the division is not over quite yet. You have to play your games, but at the same time, Green Bay, you're going up there. What is it going to look like?
I got two other questions for you. This first one's short. The HBO is doing their in-season Hard Knocks of the NFC East. Now, I say I'm from the old school, and some of y'all are from before me. So, I come from the side of saying, hell no, I don't want no Hard Knocks around. Who would y'all want to be on Hard Knocks, in season or training camp wise?
I was on it. I was actually the very first Hard Knocks team. We the Super Bowl champion Baltimore Ravens. Ooh, we're going to do Hard Knocks. Okay, great. What does that mean? Technically, NFL Films, I don't know how NFL Films works today's game, but I know back in the day, you knew all the video guys from an NFL film standpoint.
Yeah.
You knew them by their first name, and they took care of you. Like, they weren't going to show anything embarrassing. And so having the cameras around was not that big of a deal. The Ravens and the AFC North last year had Hard Knocks around, and I thought they did a very good job of just showing, whether it be Mike Tomlin in his team meetings, Mike Tomlin being Mike Tomlin as far as his Tomlin-isms. I think the Ravens, they were around, but they really didn't show much. So I think ultimately the teams have autonomy as to what can be shown. So, it's 6 and 1/2 dozen of another.
I wouldn't want it.
No.
No.
I used to, when I played back in the 80s and 90s, I used to take my camcorder back in the day to training camp. I got actual footage. I was Hard Knocks before Hard Knocks started. So I took my camcorder and I videoed, of course, outside of practice, dining hall, the rookies singing.
He got some stuff.
I got some stuff in the dorms that I converted from VHS to DVD. I still have this stuff. Anyway, but I digress.
Uh-oh.
I wouldn't want Hard Knocks following me around. Because now it's all about kind of, what's the one I'm looking for? Like gotcha video and controversy stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not cool.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say they're in Buffalo this year, and Buffalo put a thing in. They write a first refusal to everything.
Oh,
so the Hard Knocks in Buffalo was washed before you even got it. Brandon Beane and those guys removed stuff, added stuff. I mean, it was
good.
It was all they didn't. So they kind of had that understanding. Like, if you're going to come in, we got to have refusal rights, and they gave it to them. So a lot of that was pre-edited before it even got out.
But what about the lost footage? Right? That don't mean they're going to destroy it. Somebody has that.
You already know when you mic'd up. When you mic'd up, nobody talks to you that day at practice anyway. That's the loneliest day on the field, man. Hey, I'm fed, man. Oh, he mic'd up today, bro. Yeah, that's the nicest thing you could do. You better tell your teammate. If you mic'd up, young players, if you are mic'd up, please tell your teammate.
And for me, it's not just who's mic'd up, but I don't want that. I don't want that grief in my locker room. I don't want, because you always have these guys, these want to be divas. Want to shine, want to show up. Let me show you. Let me pull up to training camp in a hot air balloon, barefoot. I mean, this is
that's slowed down recently. Them kids don't do that anymore.
I come in the late 90s and early 2000s and play this game, and I'm watching these characters, and everybody's trying to build a rep. Everybody's got a camera. Everyone did the phones and stuff like that, and that's about the time I'm starting. You better get that damn camera out of my face. I'm not trying to be seen right now, but there are guys who need to be seen.
I just know that if they followed you in Hard Knocks, you would probably getting fired. So don't follow me. I didn't want no camera time. Like, nah, it's a great story, undrafted guy, but we got to let you go. I didn't want that one. Last bit before we get up out of here, we're just talking about a little NFL superlatives. Who is your MVP right now? I just need a name. Jamil, go.
Drake Maye.
All right, Brad, go.
Hey, come back to me.
All right, Mark Collins, go.
Jonathan Taylor.
Ooh, Jerry Ostrowski.
Drake Maye.
All right, Professor Kennedy, sir.
Jonathan Taylor, right with Mark.
Let's go with Z. What you got?
Drake Maye.
Kadri Ismail.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Ooh, Bradford Banta.
Wow. Yeah, I got to go Jonathan Taylor because he's going to be carrying this team the second half of into the playoffs.
All right. I guess I'm supposed to be splitting this tie, but I'm going to give it to Jonathan Taylor. Let me give it to him, but Drake Maye has had a hell of a year. But we're going to get up out of here. Appreciate y'all staying with us this whole episode. It's another NFL Player Squad. Anthony Armstrong for the rest of these faces on the screen. We appreciate y'all. Y'all stay tuned. We'll catch y'all next week. Take it easy.